Day 189, Exile, 2 Kings 23, 2 Chronicles 34, Proverbs 8 verses 1 through 21. Let's begin. 2 Kings 23. And they reported to the king what she had said. And he sent, and all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem were gathered to him. And the king ascended to the temple of the Lord. And with him were all the men of Judah and all who were living in Jerusalem, the priests, and the prophets, and all the people, from the small to the great. And in the hearing of everyone, he read all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of the Lord. And the king stood upon the step. And he struck a covenant before the Lord, so that they would walk after the Lord, and keep his precepts and testimonies and ceremonies, with all their heart, and with all their soul, and so that they would carry out the words of this covenant, which had been written in that book. And the people agreed to the covenant. And the king instructed Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priests of the second order, and the doorkeepers, so that they would cast out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels which had been made for Baal, and for the sacred grove, and for the entire army of heaven. And he burned them outside of Jerusalem, in the steep valley of Kidron. And he carried their dust into Bethel. And he destroyed the soothsayers, whom the kings of Judah had appointed to sacrifice in the high places throughout the cities of Judah, and all around Jerusalem, along with those who were burning incense to Baal, and to the sun, and to the moon, and to the 12 signs, and to the entire army of heaven. And he caused the sacred grove to be carried away from the house of the Lord, outside of Jerusalem, to the steep valley of Kidron. And he burned it there, and reduced it to dust. And he cast the dust over the graves of the common people. Also, he destroyed the small places of the effeminate, which were in the house of the Lord, for which the women were weaving something like little houses in the sacred grove. And he gathered together all the priests from the cities of Judah. And he defiled the high places, where the priests were sacrificing, from Geba as far as Beersheba. And he tore down the altars of the gates at the entrance to the gate of Joshua, the leader of the city, which was to the left of the gate of the city. Yet truly, the priests of the high places did not ascend to the altar of the Lord in Jerusalem. For they would only eat from the unleavened bread in the midst of their brothers. Also, he defiled Topheth, which is in the steep valley of the son of Hinnom, so that no one would consecrate his son or his daughter, through fire, to Molech. Also, he took away the horses that the kings of Judah had given to the sun, at the entrance to the temple of the Lord, beside the hallway of Nathan-Melech, the eunuch, who was in Ferurim. And he burned the chariots of the sun with fire. Also, the altars which were upon the roof of the upper room of Ahaz, which the kings of Judah had made, and the altars which Manasseh had made in the 2 courts of the temple of the Lord, the king destroyed. And he hurried from there, and he scattered their ashes into the torrent Kidron. Also, the high places which were in Jerusalem, to the right side of the Mount of Offense, which Solomon, the king of Israel, had built to Ashtoreth, the idol of the Sidonians, and to Chemosh, the offense of Moab, and to Milcom, the abomination of the sons of Ammon, the king defiled. And he crushed the statues, and he cut down the sacred groves. And he filled their places with the bones of the dead. Then too, the altar which was in Bethel, and the high place which Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who caused Israel to sin, had made, both that altar and the high place he tore down, and burned, and reduced to dust. And then he also set fire to the sacred grove. And in that place Josiah, turning, saw the sepulchres which were on the mount. And he sent and took the bones from the sepulchres. And he burned them upon the altar, and he defiled it in accord with the word of the Lord, which was spoken by the man of God, who had predicted these events. And he said, "What is that monument that I see?" And the citizens of that city responded to him, "It is the sepulchre of the man of God, who came from Judah, and who predicted these events, which you have carried out concerning the altar of Bethel." And he said, "Permit him. Let no one move his bones." And his bones have remained untouched, with the bones of the prophet who had arrived from Samaria. Then too, all the shrines of the high places, which were in the cities of Samaria, which the kings of Israel had made to provoke the Lord, Josiah took away. And he acted toward them according to all the works that he had done in Bethel. And all the priests of the high places, who were in that place, he killed upon the altars. And he burned the bones of the men upon them. And he returned to Jerusalem. And he instructed all the people, saying, Keep the Passover to the Lord your God, according to what has been written in the book of this covenant. Now no similar Passover was kept, from the days of the judges, who judged Israel, and from all the days of the kings of Israel and the kings of Judah, as this Passover, which was kept to the Lord in Jerusalem, in the 18th year of King Josiah. Then too, Josiah took away those who divined by spirits, and the soothsayers, and the images of the idols, and the defilements, and the abominations, which had been in the land of Judah and Jerusalem, so that he might establish the words of the law, which were written in the book, which Hilkiah, the priest, found in the temple of the Lord. There was no king before him similar to him, who returned to the Lord with all his heart, and with all his soul, and with all his strength, in accord with the entire law of Moses. And after him, there rose up no one similar to him. Yet truly, the Lord did not turn away from the wrath of his great fury, his fury which was enraged against Judah because of the provocations by which Manasseh had provoked him. And so the Lord said, And now I will remove Judah from my face, just as I removed Israel. And I will cast aside this city, Jerusalem, which I have chosen, and the house, about which I said, My name shall be there. Now the rest of the words of Josiah, and all that he did, have these not been written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Judah? During his days Pharaoh Necho, the king of Egypt, ascended against the king of the Assyrians to the river Euphrates. And King Josiah went out to meet him. And when he had seen him, he was killed at Megiddo. And his servants carried him dead from Megiddo. And they took him to Jerusalem, and they buried him in his own sepulchre. And the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and they anointed him, and made him king in place of his father. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he had begun to reign, and he reigned for 3 months in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah, from Libnah. And he did evil before the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. And Pharaoh Necho bound him at Riblah, which is in the land of Hamath, so that he would not reign in Jerusalem. And he imposed a penalty on the land, 100 talents of silver, and 1 talent of gold. And Pharaoh Necho appointed Eliakim, the son of Josiah, as king in place of Josiah his father. And he changed his name to Jehoiakim. Then he took Jehoahaz away, and he brought him into Egypt, and there he died. Now Jehoiakim gave silver and gold to Pharaoh, when he had taxed the land, according to each one who would contribute by the command of Pharaoh. And he exacted both silver and gold from the people of the land, from each one according to his ability, so that he would give to Pharaoh Necho. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he had begun to reign, and he reigned for 11 years in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Zebidah, the daughter of Pedaiah, from Ramah. And he did evil before the Lord, in accord with all that his fathers had done. 2 Chronicles 34. Josiah was 8 years old when he had begun to reign, and he reigned for 31 years in Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, and he walked in the ways of his father David. He did not turn away, neither to the right, nor to the left. Now in the 8th year of his reign, when he was still a boy, he began to seek the God of his father David. And in the 12th year after he had begun to reign, he cleansed Judah and Jerusalem from the high places, and the sacred groves, and the idols, and the graven images. And in his sight, they destroyed the altars of the Baals, and they demolished the idols which had been set upon them. And then he cut down the sacred groves and crushed the graven images. And he scattered the fragments upon the tombs of those who had been accustomed to immolate to them. And after that he burned the bones of the priests upon the altars of the idols. And so did he cleanse Judah and Jerusalem. Then too, in the cities of Manasseh, and of Ephraim, and of Simeon, even to Naphtali, he overturned everything. And when he had destroyed the altars and the sacred groves, and had broken the idols to pieces, and when all the profane shrines had been demolished from the entire land of Israel, he returned to Jerusalem. And so, in the 18th year of his reign, having now cleansed the land and the temple of the Lord, he sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, and Maaseiah, the ruler of the city, and Joah, the son of Joahaz, the historian, to repair the house of the Lord his God. And they went to Hilkiah, the high priest. And having accepted from him the money which had been brought into the house of the Lord, and which the Levites and porters had gathered together from Manasseh, and Ephraim, and the entire remnant of Israel, and also from all of Judah, and Benjamin, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, they delivered it into the hands of those who were in charge of the workers in the house of the Lord, so that they might repair the temple, and restore whatever was weak. And they gave it to the artisans and the stoneworkers, so that they might buy stones from the quarries, and wood for the joints of the building and for the upper floors the houses, which the kings of Judah had destroyed. And they did everything faithfully. Now the overseers of the workers were Jahath and Obadiah, from the sons of Merari, and Zechariah and Meshullam, from the sons of Kohath, who were supervising the work. All were Levites who knew how to play musical instruments. Truly, scribes and teachers, from among the Levites who were porters, were over those who were carrying burdens for various uses. And when they carried out the money that had been brought into the temple of the Lord, Hilkiah the priest found the book of the law of the Lord by the hand of Moses. And he said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. And he delivered it to him. Then he took the volume to the king, and he reported to him, saying, Behold, everything that you entrusted to your servants is completed. They have melted together the silver that was found in the house of the Lord. And it has been given to the overseers of the artisans and craftsmen for various works. After this, Hilkiah the priest gave to me this book. And when he had read it in the presence of the king, and he had heard the words of the law, he tore his garments. And he instructed Hilkiah, and Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, and Abdon, the son of Micah, and also Shaphan, the scribe, and Asaiah, the servant of the king, saying, Go, and pray to the Lord for me, and for the remnant of Israel and Judah, concerning all the words of this book, which has been found. For the great fury of the Lord has rained down upon us, because our fathers did not keep the words of the Lord, to do all that has been written in this volume. Therefore, Hilkiah, and those who had been sent with him by the king, went to Huldah, the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, the son of Tokath, the son of Hazra, the keeper of the vestments. She was living in Jerusalem, in the second part. And they spoke to her the words which we explained above. And she responded to them, Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, Tell the man who sent you to me. Thus says the Lord, Behold, I will lead in evils over this place, and over its inhabitants, with all the curses that have been written in this book, which they have read before the king of Judah. For they have abandoned me, and they have sacrificed to foreign gods, so that they provoked me to wrath by all the works of their hands. Therefore, my fury will rain down upon this place, and it will not be extinguished. To the king of Judah, who sent you to petition before the Lord, so shall you speak, Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, since you listened to the words of this volume, and your heart was softened, and you humbled yourself in the sight of God concerning these things which have been said against this place and against the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and since, revering my face, you have torn your garments, and have wept before me, I also have heeded you, says the Lord. For now I will gather you to your fathers, and you will be brought into your sepulchre in peace. Neither shall your eyes see all the evil that I will lead in, over this place and over its inhabitants. And so they took back to the king all that she had said. And he, calling together all those greater by birth of Judah and Jerusalem, ascended to the house of the Lord, united with all the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the priests and the Levites, and all the people, from the least even to the greatest. And in their hearing, in the house of the Lord, the king read all the words of the volume. And standing up at his tribunal, he struck a covenant before the Lord, so that he would walk after him, and would keep his precepts and testimonies and justifications, with his whole heart, and with his whole soul, and so that he would do the things that were written in that volume, which he had read. Also, concerning this, he bound by oath all who had been found in Jerusalem and Benjamin. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem acted in accord with the covenant of the Lord, the God of their fathers. Therefore, Josiah took away all the abominations from all the regions of the sons of Israel. And he caused all who were remaining in Israel to serve the Lord their God. During all his days they did not withdraw from the Lord, the God of their fathers. Proverbs 8 verses 1 through 21. Does not wisdom call out, and prudence bestow her voice? At the summits and the tops of exalted places, standing above the ways, in the midst of the paths. Beside the gates of the city, at the very doors, she speaks, saying, O men, to you I call out, and my voice is to the sons of men. O little ones, understand discernment. And you who are unwise, turn your souls. Listen, for I will speak about great things, and my lips will be opened, so as to foretell what is right. My throat shall practice truth, and my lips shall detest the impious. All my words are just. There is no depravity in them, and no perversity. They are upright to those who understand, and equitable to those who discover knowledge. Accept my discipline, and not money. Choose the doctrine that is greater than gold. For wisdom is better than all that is most precious, and everything that is desirable cannot compare to her. I, wisdom, dwell in counsel, and I am inside learned thoughts. The fear of the Lord hates evil. I detest arrogance, and pride, and every wicked way, and a mouth with a double tongue. Counsel is mine, and equity. Prudence is mine. Strength is mine. Through me, kings reign and legislators decree just conditions. Through me, princes rule and the powerful decree justice. I love those who love me, and those who stand watch for me until morning shall discover me. With me are wealth and glory, superb riches and justice. For my fruit is better than gold and precious stones, and my progeny better than choice silver. I walk in the way of justice, in the midst of the paths of judgment, so that I may enrich those who love me, and thus complete their treasures.